Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you're joining us from. A very warm welcome to today's webinar, The Right Fit, What to Look For in an eClinical Solution in 2025. I'm Pooja Sood, and I'm delighted to be your host and facilitator for this session. Thank you for spending the next hour with us. Whether you are in the middle of evaluating platforms, preparing for your next study, or simply exploring what's next in clinical technology, we are here to bring you practical insight and clarity on what the right fit eClinical solution truly looks like in today's evolving trial landscape. Now, before we begin, just a few quick housekeeping items. This session is being recorded, and the link will be sent to all registrants shortly after. Everyone is on mute by default, but we encourage you to engage using the Q&A panel throughout the session. If you face any tech hiccups, please just drop a message in the chat and our support team will help you right away. And finally, please stay with us until the end. We'll have a Q&A session and a giveaway. Moving on to the agenda, here's what we have lined up for you today. First, we'll take a quick look at Cloudbase and who we are. Then we'll dive into how technology is reshaping clinical trials globally. We'll walk you through what regulators expect from today's platform and how that's shifting. Then comes the heart of the session, what really makes a solution the right fit from configurability and compliance to real-time collaboration. We'll share real-world case studies showing how sponsors and CROs are applying these strategies, and you'll get to see all in action during our live demo, and we'll close with a Q&A to address your specific questions. Now, before we dive into the main discussion, let me introduce you to Cloudbiz. All right, so Cloudbiz is a leading eClinical solutions provider. Our platform is one of the fastest growing unified clinical trial management solutions in the market, designed 100% on the Salesforce platform, offering a unique blend of scalability, modularity, and configurability to suit your specific business needs and processes. At Cloudbiz, we believe in empowering organizations of all size, from Fortune 500 companies to agile startups, to streamline their clinical trials, optimize operations, and accelerate the delivery of life-saving therapies. Our comprehensive suite of products covers the entire spectrum of clinical trial management, including the CTMS, which is a flagship product that facilitates seamless end-to-end project management for clinical trials, the CTBM, an essential tool for managing the financial aspects of clinical research, the ETMF, our robust document management solution ensuring compliance and efficient data handling, the EDC, a powerful data management platform, safety and pharmacovigilance that streamlines safety monitoring during and after clinical trials. We're also exploring the future of clinical trials with our recently launched AI-powered platform, clinicalwave.ai, featuring tools like ClinRedact, ClinExtract, and ClinDicom, which helps clinical trial users efficiently handle PHI and PII data across trial documents and DICOM images.
Awesome.
Before our solutions, Beyond our solutions, Cloudbiz has been recognized in the Everest Group's matrix as a leading provider of eClinical solutions, highlighting our commitment to excellence and innovation. Our products seamlessly integrate with existing systems, offering a unified workflow to ensure your clinical trial processes run smoothly and efficiently. Globally, we are present in 3 countries with our headquarters in Chicago, US, regional offices in Toronto, Canada, and an offshore delivery center in Bengaluru, India, allowing us to support clients across different time zones. Our solutions are fully compliant with global safety regulations, including FDA 21 CFR Part 11, GCP, HIPAA, and more, ensuring quality and security in every aspect of clinical trial management. Proudly ISO 9001 and 27001 certified, we continue to be recognized for our commitment to quality and security. We're also honored to have been featured among the top 5 emerging pharmacovigilance startups by Startup US and to be recognized by the Inc. 5000 as one of the fastest growing companies in America. And recently, we've been featured in the Everest Peak Metrics report for our CTMS and EDC product, again highlighting our commitment to excellence and innovation. For more information, you could visit our website, cloudbiz.com, or reach out to us at info@cloudbiz.com to book a personalized demo. We look forward to helping you bring life-saving therapies to market faster and improve patient lives worldwide. Now, going over to our speakers, joining us today are two experts who bring a blend of strategic vision and real world experience to this discussion. First up, we have Tanir, who's a life sciences solutions manager at Cloudbase with over a decade in life sciences consulting, AI strategy, and business development. Tanir leads global pre-sales and partnerships at Cloudbase. He's been instrumental in helping organizations modernize their clinical trial ecosystems from Europe to emerging markets like China. He brings a sharp lens to what matters most when choosing technology that must scale, integrate, and comply. Also with us is Corinne Cato, our account executive. Corinne brings hands-on experience in clinical trial operations and a deep understanding of eClinical technologies. She has also worked very closely with global trial sponsors and CROs, helping them leverage modern solutions to enhance trial efficiency and compliance. Together, they'll provide valuable insights and define and identify on how to adopt the right fit eClinical solution in 2025. With that, let's dive in. I'll now hand it over to Corinne to kick things off by walking us through the current landscape of clinical trials and growing role of technology. Over to you, Corinne.
Thanks so much, Pooja. Hi, everyone. Happy to be back. If you're joining us for the first time or for the second or third time or more than that, awesome. Happy to have you join us today. We're going to be exploring how eClinical platforms are, as Pooja said, transforming the way that we plan, execute, and manage studies in this day and age. So taking a look at the current landscape, today, the average trial duration, I'll give everyone just like a minute if they want to put in some answers into the Q&A of what their guess is for the average trial duration. Obviously, this is going to change depending on a lot of factors like the phase and therapeutic area and things like that. But if anybody wants to go ahead and give a couple guesses before I pop that answer onto the slide. And then as well, the average cost of a phase 3 trial, there's a large range there. Again, it's going to change depending on the therapeutic area and a couple other factors as well. But if we could just have some ballparks put in, happy to have those guesses before we put the answers on the slide there. So 6 to 8 years for average trial duration is what we're looking at. It's a very long time. That's not even talking from, preclinical to post-market. This is just talking about one of the phases. And then the cost of phase 3. So we're looking at 20 to 100 million, probably more for oncology trials or things like that. Or if we get into study delays, obviously that's going to cause incurred costs. So a lot to consider there. With the trial delays, so 85% of trials experience delays. So with those delays, 30% of them come from site level inefficiencies. So things like slow site activation to begin with, bottlenecks in data entry and query resolution, poor communication. So there's a laundry list of some of those site level inefficiencies that could be addressed to reduce the trial delays. And then importantly, over 50% of trials are now supporting hybrid or decentralized designs, which is great. We're taking a step in the right direction there. It's reflecting the growing shift essentially towards flexibility and patient-centric models. So how can technology help, or how can an eClinical platform help? We are going to see a range of benefits. So accelerated study startup. That's where I said a lot of the site level inefficiencies, right? Using configurable templates and workflows in an eClinical solution can reduce timelines drastically by 25 to 40% is what we're seeing. Centralized oversight, so having that real-time visibility, it's going to help with pre-planning, execution, monitoring. You're going to be alerted to things before they even become a problem. And then there's improved data integrity. So a unified system is going to reduce manual errors, reconciliation work, duplicate efforts. You're not going to have multiple sources of information. You have one source of truth to refer to, which is great. And then there's regulatory readiness. So those built-in audit trails, which is handy, and not only handy, necessary, version control, role-based access for different users to ensure compliance with regulatory requirements around the world. Cost efficient, obviously, cost is very important. So the automation of these repeatable processes is going to help lower the operational overhead, reducing not only timelines, but also cost, which is a bonus. So now let's take a quick look at what regulatory bodies are expecting when it comes to eClinical platforms. So we're seeing a common theme across the FDA, EMA, TGA, and more. So things like PMDA in Japan, Health Canada, and Visa in Brazil. So we're seeing, like I said, common themes around data integrity, compliance for electronic records and signatures. We're seeing audit trails and access control and role-based access. That's important. Computer system validation is a must. Risk-based quality management. And then being able to trace the documentation and having the ability to archive it. And what are those timelines that need to be adhered to for archival and things like that. So again, we've all kind of adopted the same themes across different places in the world, and it's just important to note some of these. And while you're running your trial, thinking long term, when we get into global aspects of it, making sure that your trials align with the regulatory expectations of other key global bodies like Japan, Health Canada, or China, Brazil, really just supporting inspection readiness no matter where the study is being run. And so this is critical consideration when selecting or evaluating an eClinical solution to make sure that it not only meets, the FDA's requirements, but other regulatory bodies around the world and what their expectations are, which is pretty much aligned. So what does a right fit eClinical solution look like? We'll go over these one by one. But does the platform align with the complexity of the trials? So not only are you looking at it for early phase, but can it handle when we get to a global multi-site phase 3 trial, and then even consider beyond that with solutions for post-market surveillance, capable of supporting adaptive, hybrid, decentralized designs, which is where we're seeing things shift towards. And then is it modular? Can it be integrated with your existing systems? Is there available all under one umbrella? And then setting up those workflows to scale. Next up, can you configure it without customizing it? So we're seeing, waiting on timelines to have customizations with complex hard coding in place, when an eClinical solution would ideally have pre-built templates for startup, monitoring, reporting, budgets. It's going to have drag and drop logic, rule building that you can do yourself, automated triggers, and it's basically going to reduce the setup from months to weeks. And as I said, without any hard coding, without any kind of technical knowledge of how to configure that system and work with it going forward. Third here, it should support real-time collaboration and oversight. So central dashboards for site performance and monitoring, enrollment and safety trends, notifications for all of those thresholds that you might want to set. Role-based portals for various third parties who are accessing the data and might need access. Everybody can have a view of that, just depending on their role. And then integrated audit trail and compliance logs, a must. I shouldn't have to say it, but it's a must. And then finally, it must be built for compliance and audit readiness, kind of leading over from those audit trails. Is it 21 CFR Part 11 or Annex 11 or ICH GCP ready? Validation documentation available for system traceability, and then as well enable proven inspection readiness and regulatory adoption. All of these things we want to think about when we're selecting an eClinical solution. So just keep that in mind. The final insight I kind of want to leave you with before we take a look at some of the case studies that we have lined up is that the right platform it's not just a tool, it's a strategic enabler for speed, quality, compliance in clinical development. So it should be used as such. Okay, so just a couple of case studies. We have a global sponsor, and just a little bit about them. You can read here. They're pharmaceuticals, like I said, global, operating in the U.S., China, Brazil, Europe. They had a lot of already existing solutions as well, but wanted to expand and get everything all in one. So that's what we set out to do. With these solutions, they were manual and fragmented, which led to compliance risks, high overhead and operational costs, and then ultimately slowed down the time to market. So what we proposed was pretty much all of our offerings there, our CTMS, our CTFM, eTMF, EDC, and safety. They're even leveraging some of the portals for the sites and the CROs to work within the data that they're provided. So all of the solutions that we provide there is going to provide end-to-end clinical trial management. They're experiencing rapid, more faster study build times, real-time data visibility across, and then as well as the collaboration through the portals with all of those key stakeholders. For those on the call that might be from a CRO, so we've included a case study there, a global CRO that collaborates on trials in Europe, Middle East, Asia. So thinking about, again, all of those regulatory requirements that are not, just in the US or just in Canada, but we're looking globally, focusing on oncology, neurology, infectious diseases trials. So being able to handle different therapeutic areas, different phases of those therapeutic areas, all in one solution was super important as well. Some of the challenges that they had faced: high costs, which we already kind of touched upon, resource utilization as well, manual trial oversight, just being inspection ready to reduce those risks, inefficiencies, fragmented communications, because they're kind of the middleman, right? Working with the sponsor, working with the sites. So you want to have that visibility at all times. We proposed our unified solution, CTMS, CTFM, eTMF, EDC, safety, as well as our patient recruitment, and they're leveraging our site portal. So again, unified everything all under one umbrella, so to speak. They're able to send out feasibility to select sites. They have checklist management. So all of these great features that I think some of them Tanir will be able to touch upon during the demo, but they're experiencing a lot of benefits from using a one-stop shop, so to speak, to manage their research across, like I said, different phases, different therapeutic areas. So it's really great, and we're excited to continue providing these solutions to our customers and helping them kind of see the light to bringing everything all under one umbrella and having that one-stop shop effect. I will pass it over to Tanir, who will be taking up just a brief look at some of the solutions in action and how they all kind of work together.
All right. Thank you so much, Coreen, for that very insightful presentation. To my audience, I hope you found it just as interesting as I did. I would now take the conversation forward and walk you through our applications and also help you to, assess and select the right clinical solution for you, in 2025. Yeah, so this is the homepage of the Cloud with CTMS, and as you can see at the very center of it, we have a number of data-rich reports, all of which are clustered together to create a very neat and intuitive dashboard. Now, one of the primary features of these reports and dashboards are that they are updated in real time, and these are persona driven as well, which means that any piece of study or any site that gets activated or any clinical site that gets added, the data would reflect here instantaneously and you would not really need to wait for it. It's also persona driven, which means that depending on the type of user, the role of that user who is logging in, he would be interested in metrics for his particular role, right? So effectively the reports and dashboards would be tailored according to his requirements, and we would set those up for you during the system setup process. Apart from this, we will also provide you with training, which will help you to set up set up custom reports as and when you need, without any upper limit in terms of the number of reports that you can set up. The system, although comes with out of the box with 100 plus reports, which you can always leverage as soon as the system goes live. Okay, so apart from the reports and dashboards that you have here, which are updated in real time and are persona driven, you can also download these reports and put it into your decks and documents. You can also subscribe to it similar to the way you subscribe to any newsletter, and you can also bring in your colleagues as well within the subscription list. So you would not really need to log into the system, you can directly have it delivered to your mailboxes. Apart from that, as part of the home screen, we have the global search bar on top through which you can search for any piece of record both by its name as well as ID. There is a app launcher from Salesforce that serves as a gateway to jump between applications. So as part of the eClinical landscape, we have the ETMF, the EDC, we have the safety and pharmacovigilance database. You can move seamlessly between applications using this app launcher without needing separate credentials for them. Apart from that, we also have on the right hand side the utilities section wherein you can leverage this to stay on top of your day-to-day tasks and activities. So this view that you see here remains pretty standard across all of our applications, although the dashboard and the reports, they would reflect the line of action that that particular application is working towards, and accordingly the metrics would change. So this is what we have as part of the homepage. Moving forward, we have the accounts and contacts as the next two tabs, which primarily houses the data regarding the business entities and their corresponding contacts. Now, you would be working with a number of contacts starting from CRO, sponsors, or sites, depending on the type of organization you are, and all of those details would be stored here. And let me just show you very quickly one of those records. So accurate clinical research is a contact of site type, and accordingly we have all of the details stored here as part of the details tab. Accordingly, contacts, performance metrics for this particular site, feasibility survey that these sites that this site has taken, whatever clinical studies that this site is a part of, all of this gets updated here. And all of these details you can either update it manually, or you can upload it from a CSV upload, or if you're integrating with any third party system, like similar, like say you are a sponsor, you are integrating with a number of CRO CTMS, we can bring in the data through those integrations as well. So all of those details can be captured here as part of accounts and contacts. And moving forward, I have the studies tab here where you can see the studies are listed. Now, there are a number of ways in which you can look at the study. Right now, this is the tabular view. We also have a Kanban and a hierarchical split view available as well. So let me just open up one particular study here. So this is the cardiac arrest study, and as soon as you log into the window, you will see on top we have the compact dashboard wherein you can let us know what sort of fields and labels you want, and we can set those up for you. Up next is the status bar, where you can either update manually to reflect the current status of the study, or through milestones and workflows and automations, we can set this to update automatically. And below we have the details wherein we are capturing the details of this particular study. Now this again can be updated manually, or it can also be brought in through an integration with your EDC in case you have an EDC within the system, or if you're using our cloud with EDC, we can seamlessly flow the data from EDC to CTMS without the need of any integrations whatsoever. Moving along is the planning tab wherein we capture all the operational details. We have the milestones and tasks, which are basically used for, or it can be used very relevantly for uh, triggering of those accruals and the invoices upon completion of certain tasks, which would eventually lead to your payments being made to the sites. So for those reasons, you can use the milestones and tasks, and we also have templates to set these up very seamlessly without you to actually do it manually every time. Apart from that, we have study teams that we can set up here: trial contacts, vendors, regulatory submissions checklist, IRB approval details, protocols, and visit plan, which is important, for the tracking of budget payments, and also, for the EDC purpose as well. So yeah, so there's a number of details that we can capture as part of the planning tab, and you can let us know, like, this is how we have housed it within the demo environment. In case you would want it to, each of it to become an individual tab, we can do that as well. Moving along, we have the study startup, wherein you can primarily take care of the feasibility questionnaires being sent and the analysis part of it. So let me just quickly show you how you can send a feasibility questionnaire. So you click on select contacts. You have a number of filters here through which you can select the accounts, the therapeutic area of the PI, the role of the person whom you want to send out these feasibility questions, as well as the location. And according to your filters that you select, you will find the list of PIs that you would want to send out the feasibility questions to. Now, for in the interest of time, let me quickly just select my name here, and okay. Yeah, so it comes here. Now here is just my name, but you can select a list of PIs that you would want here. And as part of email templates, again, we have templatized this as well, and we can work with you, set up the templates during the study setup phase. So we can select the email survey template here as part of this drop down, and accordingly you can preview the email that would be sent both in text as well as HTML phase. Now accordingly, once you have done all of these activities, you can send out the email to your list of PIs. Once a PI receives this email, this is how it would come in his inbox, and he will have a link which he can access without ever needing a Salesforce subscription or anything. This is a freely accessible link, and by clicking on it, he would be able to take the survey. And once he takes the survey, that result will again flow into this very own system of Cloudways. Now, let me just show you how you can look at this particular response and analyze it. Okay, so now we have received the responses from a list of PIs and we would want to analyze it. So I click on view all responses. Sorry, let me just select the timeline here. And oops, sorry for that. My bad, I think I missed a step there, sorry. One second, guys, I think the network is really testing me today. Sorry for that, guys, once more. All right. Okay, so I'm just selecting a suitable date range where I will find a lot of records. You can just select the date range that seems suitable for you. And as soon as I do that, you will find the list of all the responses that has been received from your list of PIs. And the next thing that you can do is you can click on view all responses and you will see all the records here. Now you can either select a particular question and only look at the responses for that particular question and accordingly take a decision, or just help you to you know uh, you know focus your thoughts in terms of how you would want to take the feasibility question forward. Or you can also use the filter options to have look at the particular responses for a particular questions and then do the filtering of the PIs that you would want to take forward. So there are various options available for slicing and dicing of data, and there are also some smart chart options available as part of each of these responses, which will help you visually look at the data responses that you have received. Okay, and there is also an option of downloading it both as an Excel as well as a PDF format, and store it in a local, or upload it within your ETML. Okay, so that is part of the study startup feasibility questionnaire sending and the analysis part. And then there is the study startup document section, wherein you will be able to house all the study startup documents and also keep an update on, or keep a track on the status of these documents as well. Okay, so now that we are done with the startup, I move to the projections part, wherein you can see the site activations and the patient enrollment projections here, which can be visualized both from a new data, from a new activation or a new enrollment versus a cumulative that's happening on month basis. And accordingly we can set this up for you across different regions. Right now we just have it US and OUS here, but then in case you're doing multi-country studies, we can bring those in for you accordingly. Apart from this, we can also bring in some graphical options that will help you to visually realize what these data points are actually showing as part of the study or at the table. Moving on, we have the clinical sites that is basically housing all of the site data that you have as part of the study. And then we move on to the monitoring tab, where you can take care basically of your end-to-end monitoring activities from SQV, SIV, IMV, and so forth and so forth. Let me open up one particular SQB visit I here. So this is a SQB visit that I had just set up previously, and the planned date of visit is 27th of June, which is tomorrow. And as a CRD, before you make this visit, you would want to send out a confirmation letter to your sites, right? So you can do that by this option. And we also have a template set up so that you would not really need to spend time in typing this email. You can directly do it from the template that we have here. Now, once you have sent the email and you have visited the site, you would actually want to record your observations, which you can do as part of the the monitoring report here. I have already filled in some of the details just so that we are able to finish all of this in time. Now, as you can see, these are the questions that we have, and accordingly, there are responses that have been pre-filled here. And one second, please let me just take it back to in progress state so that I can show you. Okay, so now basically like I can update all of these details according to the observations, and as a CRA, in case I have any action items to note down for my follow-ups, I can also note those down here as well. Now, once I've done that, I would be able to also move this along either manually or through automations, and put it into review phase, so that the lead CRA, whoever is reviewing this monitoring report, can look into each of these observations that I've made, and also put in his comments, whatever that he would want to. And only once these comments have been verified and closed would I be able to complete this monitoring report. Okay, so let me just put it back to in progress, so that we have it in its original state. Now, as a CRA, once you are done with your visit, you would want to maybe very soon send out the follow-up letter to that site, which you can again do from our system itself, and there is an email template available for that as well. So SQB follow-up letter, as you can see, would come up here, so you would not again need to type it. And whatever action items that you had collected, or you had made an observation in your monitoring report, will also come up here. That also saves you time and ensures that you don't miss out on anything. Okay, so that was the process of SQV, the items that you can do, and there are a lot more action items or functionalities that we have here. In the interest of time, I'm just going over the major parts of it. Please let us know in case you would want a detailed demo of these modules, and we can very well take those up for you as well. So similar to SQV, we have monitoring for IMV as well. Now, again, you can send out confirmation letters. You can also launch a monitoring report, and as part of IMV, you can also seamlessly attach the adverse event forms as well as the ECRF forms that you have collected as part of the cloud-based EDC, which is used for data collection for these activities. Similar to the SQVs, you can also send out follow-up letters if you want. And finally, after everything has been after your one second, after your form has been approved, or after the form has been reviewed by your lead PI or lead CRA, you can also put in your 21 CFR compliant e-signatures as well. So once all of this is done, you would want to, you have the option of either downloading the PDF, the monitoring report PDF, or you can seamlessly upload this to our cloud-based CTMF directly from within the cloud-based CTMS by using the upload PDF option. And depending on the folder that you select, it will seamlessly go and sit within the ETMF folder. Okay, so since we're on the topic of ETMF, let me quickly switch over to the ETMF part of things. As I said, I can use the app launcher and reach the ETMF without ever needing a separate credential for this. So I moved to the cloud-based ETMF, and as you can see, the dashboard, the homepage remains pretty consistent. We have the live and the persona driven reports and dashboards at the center of the screen, which again, the records and the KPIs that you see here are more aligned to the ETMF metrics and the document management domain. um, then moving along, so this was the home page as I just spoke of. The calendar, accounts and contacts are similar to the CTMS, so wouldn't really waste a lot of time in going over them. Coming to the ETMF page here, so this is what the homepage of the ETMF, or the ETMF page looks like on the ETMF application. On the left hand side, you will find a number of root folders, which are corresponding to the studies that you have set up in the CTMS. Now, these folders can either be set up manually, or you can have automations in place so that every time a study is set up in the CTMS, a corresponding root folder will be set up here. Now, when I open up any particular study here, say the IVAC after study, so we have the option of both having custom folder structures or DIA enabled folder structures here as of and you can let us know what you want, and we can set those up for you very seamlessly. And we also have templates in place so that this becomes a very easy process, and not we have to set it up every time. So as soon as I click on IVAC after, if you see on the right hand side, you will see there is a compact dashboard that reflects the health of this particular study or the study folder. And then we have the list of subfolders that lie within this particular study folder. And there is an option for upload of files that you can use to either upload the file, or you can drag and drop it here as well. So there are different options in which you can look at these folder options. There's thumbnail, list, or columns view, and you can use it the way you want, whichever is suitable for you. Now we have a holding area available. Again, this depends on the requirement of the client. So if you would want a workflow where the files first come in your holding area, you do your QC, you do your review, and once everything is set, you then push it to your destination folder. We can either do that, or if you want to directly take it to any of the subfolders at the study level, and then mark it for QC review. And once the QC review is done, you update the status of the file. We can do that as well. Whatever is suitable for you, we can set those up accordingly. And that is one of the strengths of the cloud-based system, as well as the Salesforce infrastructure that we are using, which Corinne also spoke of during her presentation. Now moving to the study level, let me show you how one of the files are available here and how do we access it. Okay, so I go into the protocol, and this is a sample protocol that we have here. So as you click on it, a pop-up comes where on the left-hand side you can preview the file, and on the right-hand side you can basically update the metadata as you want. Now, there is another way in which you can look at this particular file. You can click on this icon here, wherein you will open it up basically in a separate window in eTMF documents, wherein again the preview will come on the left hand side, and you will be able to update the metadata and also move it to the destination folder of the eTMF accordingly. Apart from this, we also have workflows in place, and we can bring in the automations wherein, depending on the destination folder wherein you are keeping this file, we will be able to update the nomenclature of the file or the file name so that it reflects the exact position where it is kept. This brings in consistency and also helps you to easily locate the files that you're looking for. Okay, so apart from that, there is the status chevron up top that helps you to locate or identify the status of this file presently within the eTMF, and then everything is enabled by audit trail as is required by FDA. Okay, so that is about eTMF. There is the one thing that I did miss within the CTMS, which I would want to go to before I move on to the EDC. So in CTMS, we also have um, the training section wherein we can house all of your training requirements, and accordingly we can share these training the training PDFs to your site stakeholders and also track the completion status of that. So yeah, this has been a very keenly requested requirement from many of our clients. So just wanted to highlight this before we change gears and move from ClinOps into the CDM or the clinical data management part of things. Okay, so I have now tried to give you a very high level view of the most important items that we have as part of CTMS and ETMF. There are a lot of things that I've still not got a chance to go over, but yeah, please let us know in case you would want a full-fledged demo of any of our systems, and we would be very happy to take this forward with you. Okay, so moving into the EDC, which is used for clinical data management. So as you can see, the consistency in the home page, wherein we have the live reports and dashboards with real-time data that gets updated, and it is also personalized as well. So depending on the person who is logging in, whether he is a CRA or a data manager, he will find those metrics and the reports that are required by his role, and not any generic reports that he will have to again shift through and find the relevant metrics for. So all of that is there available, and we can set those up during the study setup phase, as I just said. So moving on, we have accounts, which again is similar to the accounts that I just spoke of during the CTMS, so won't take a lot of time here. We have the clinical studies as part of the EDC here, but then before I talk about the clinical studies, let me quickly take a detour and reach the forms library here. Simply because the forms library houses all of the all of the form templates that we leverage to accelerate the study builds of all the studies that we have within the clinical study. Now, all of the forms that you see here are all CDISC enabled. The design of the forms are CDISC compliant, which ensures that you meet the regulatory guidelines when you are using these forms. So let me open up a particular form here, which is the vital signs template. Okay, so I am now in the forms library, and as you can see, this is the forms builder section, and we have all the questions which are part of vital signs listed here. So let me open up one particular question here. I'm going to edit. So this is the question that we have. We have some basic formatting options available up top. You have 20 plus response type options that you can select from, and for some of the response types, we also have a standard response set available as well. As part of the questions, to aid your data collection process, we also have functions available for you. If you would want to, place a help text for the PI, you can do that. If you want to make it a mandatory question, you can do that. If you want to make it blinded, this is the option for that. Track reason for change: if a PI comes in and makes an update to this answer, he would have to give an answer for this. Scores for, scoring rules, then, validation rules, whether hard validations or soft validation, those rules can be set. Successor fields, for parent and child questions can be brought in. SDV for source data verification, data review for, data reviewing of the data, all of that can be done. So according to the requirements of your study and the CDISC, you can bring in those functionalities and enable those functionalities for each of these questions that you have here. Apart from this, you can also use, or you can also set the parameter, or the type of data export that you're looking for, whether it's a SAS, SDTM, or ADAM. Accordingly, when you are selecting the form export, it will get downloaded or it will get exported in the format that you have selected here. So yeah, accordingly, you can, like in a way, similar to this question that I have set up, you can, set up all the other questions that we have here as part of the forms library. And once you have set up this template for vital signs, you will then be able to use it as part of your study. So let me now go back to the clinical studies and open up a study, now that I've told you how the forms library works. Okay, so in the clinical study, I open up RCT to assess, this particular study, and we have a compact dashboard here that gives you the most, relevant details that we have set up from a demo environment. In case you want any other particular fields to be set up, you can let us know of that. Down below, we have the details where we are, capturing the information here for this particular study. Then we have the teams and the plannings, which is, pretty similar to what we have, captured data for in the CTMS. So I would just be skipping over those for now. Moving to study setup is where we are actually linking the templates that we have as part of the forms library to our actual study. Let me open up one particular template for you, or let me open up one particular study where we are linking the templates to this particular study. Okay, so this is again, we have opened it up at a study level, and we are opening up the same vital signs form here. Now, if I scroll below, you will see this is a very similar view to what you saw in the forms library, because this is where, we have just referenced the same template. But then we also give you an option to update and make any changes that you want, depending on the study that you're doing and the protocol requirements that you have. So all of those changes you can bring in, here, as well as part of the, the forms template as well. And once you have done all of that, you have an option to preview the form, as well as you are able to, up version the forms as well, as part of the version options that we have. Depending on, if there are any changes in the protocol you would want to up version the forms, you can do that. And finally, there is also, the option to provide the access, to also tailor the access to the different roles who would be using the forms. Like, say for example, a CRA, he will only be needing this form for doing his SDV, right? So essentially, he just needs a read access. Similar, but compared to that, for a PI, he will need access for both read, create and edit. So accordingly, all the accesses will be given to him. So this again is not set in stone. We have set this up from a demo perspective, but you can let us know how your study is set up and how you would want us to set these forms up, and we can do those for you. Okay, so that is that is how we are setting up the forms and linking them as part of the study. So now that we have set up the templates, then we set up the forms as part of the study, it is time for data collection, right? So how would we do data collection? That would be done by the PIs at the sites, and for that a PI would need a site portal, right? So for that, we also have a site portal wherein the PI will effectively have access to the same study, although not all the the details of the study or not all the functionalities. It would be only on a need to know basis, like whatever details and whatever functionalities that he should have access to, he will only have access to those, and we can set those up for you depending on the requirements that you have. Okay, so now we are in the site portal view. PI will have his own credentials to log into this, and once he is in this site portal, he goes to this particular CRF, and in week 3 where he is filling in his data. Now again, in the interest of time, I have already pre-filled some of the values here, and as you can see, it's pretty standard, and you can just type in the values that you want. And there are also the hard and soft validations that have been put in place, which ensures that in case any of the data fields that you put here is out of range or out of bounds, instantaneously the system will prompt you that, yeah, this is something that you would need to update. So yeah, let me just show you a quick example of that. Just a moment here. Going into vital signs. Okay. Okay, so say for example, as part of the systolic blood pressure, I put here as 130. You would say the system would instantaneously, put up a comment here, but then this is a soft validation in place, which means that, if I am bypassing this, then I'll have to give a reason why am I bypassing this, and I'm putting a value which is out of range. Accordingly, we can also have hard validations put in, which ensures that whatever data you're putting it has to be within the range that has been specified by this form. Okay, so with that, I will go back to my original week 3, the form that I had set up and also pre-filled. Okay, so once the PI has filled in all of this information, it would be upon the CRA to review it and put in his comments and query it and also do the source data verification, right? Now that is done as part of now that is done as part of this particular tab here, wherein so this is the CRA view again. So as you can see, he sees exactly what the PI had filled in as part of his study, data collection for his study, and accordingly he can query the form. He can query any piece of data in case he wants to, and ask questions before he is able to validate and review it. And accordingly he can data review and source, the data manager can data review and the CRA can source data verify this particular form to, just give it a minute. Yeah, and accordingly he can click on data, like he can data review and source data verify these particular forms, and once he does that, there will be a soft lock in place that ensures that no more updates or edits will be available. So accordingly he can source data verify and data review all of these questions that we have as part of the form, and once everything is done, there will be a PI signature that gets enabled here, wherein the PI would be able to put in his 21 CFR Part 11 compliant e-signature to finally close out the data collection process. Now once we have collected all of this data, there would come the stage where you would want to export all of these details outside. So now for that, we have the form export option available here, from where you can select the type of region, the study arm, the site, and also the type of export option that you want, whether it says GTM, ADAM, or SAS, and accordingly download this entire the entire details that you have collected, the study details that you have collected across these many forms, and store it in your local or save it in a secured hard drive as well. Now, one thing I did forget to show you as well as part of the data collection process. Now, during the data collection, there might just happen that there is an adverse event that gets, that happens, right? So the PI is bound to capture the details of it. So for that reason, we have the adverse event form here, which you can fill in. And again, the fields that you would want, you can let us know. This is again CDISC compliant, but in case you would want any specific fields, the verbiage change, you can let us know, and we can update those for you. Now, once all of those details get captured, this will then flow into our cloud-based safety and PV database, wherein we have the entire workflow starting from the case intake that happens from the EDC all the way till the reports generation that you can eventually send out to your regulatory authorities. So all of that is available as part of the safety and PV database. In the interest of time, I'm not being able to show you that application, but then yeah, that is available with us as well and is part of the cloud-based eClinical ecosystem as part of the same data model that we have these other 3 applications as well. Okay, so now that we have done the forms export, I think we have almost reached to the end of whatever functional important pointers that I would wanted to highlight as part of the EDC module here. Apart from that, we also have the reports and dashboards that I just spoke about, and one thing that I did mention, or maybe just wanted to highlight, is all of the reports and dashboards that we have here are almost you can update and you can configure them and you can create them with mostly drag and drop and point and click user actions. Let me just show you one of the examples here. So I just clicked on the site activations by study, report that we had on the CTMS. As you can see, if I click on edit, I will see this report in the editable format, and all of the details that make up this report is available here. And you can use this group rows, group columns option to bring in different data fields and columns, and you can slice and dice your data accordingly as you want. And there is also an option to bring in different visualizations. Like this is the donut view that we have kept, but you can use a column view, or you can use a funnel view, whatever is your requirement, or something that helps you to visualize your data to your comfort. You can do those accordingly. And so yeah, and it is and once you do this, you just have to save this report, and it would reflect in the home dashboard that you have on the home page. Okay, I think with that, I have tried to cover nearly all the important pointers that we have as part of the Cloudware's eClinical ecosystem. Although, as I said, there are a lot of things that I would have wanted to go over, but then in the interest of time, I did not get the chance to. However, please let us know in case you would want a detailed demo. Myself, Corinne, we would love to take the conversation forward, and arrange for a detailed demo, understanding your use cases and coming up with solutions for for your challenges. Okay, I think I am done with this. Pooja, you might want to take things forward. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tanir and Corinne.
If you're going to be there as well in Chicago at the end of July, myself will be there. Tanir unfortunately won't be there, but we'll have a couple of our team members at booth 3955. Also book some time with us. I'd love to grab a coffee as well with somebody if they wanted to discuss solutions as well. I'm available.
I think we can close the call. Cool. So thank you so much, everyone, for your time and thoughtful participation. We definitely look forward to connecting with you again soon. Please take care, and please watch out for a recording of this webinar in your email. Thank you so much.